Greetings all. I haven't had the time to do a long form reading in a while because of my new job. And so when I had the opportunity to go home early today, I'm like, yes, absolutely. Let me do a reading. And so let's see. The Queen of Stones in the reverse is the first card that came out for us. I love this artist's interpretation. This is the John Rice Mindscapes Tarot. Upright. They've done an incredible job of depicting these cards very differently. And so what I see here is a very lavish environment, but what has been sacrificed to reach that level of stability? What have you had to give up to achieve success, a perceived idea of success? Because there are some people that legitimately don't want all the money, all the big house, the expensive cars in the garage. So there was almost like this separation of what you knew you wanted and what society said you needed. And it created a juxtaposition because everyone has a different idea of success. For some people, it's having your own office. For some people, it's having a multi-story car garage. For other people, it's just having a full pantry. And so with this Queen of Stones right here, I feel like there is a step back moment for you to decide, what do you actually need? What do you actually want? Like, what is your energetic overhead? When you, like overhead, I mean like your bills and stuff, like your water, electricity, all that stuff. But energetically, what is your overhead? What do you actually need to take care of? The Tower. There may be some things in your auric field that simply do not need your attention anymore. Four of Spires, representing those four mountains. Spires, I believe, are going to be the suit of swords, because we have branches here. So swords to deal with the mind. So yeah, this was a hill you had to climb to, because maybe, especially with the holidays and stuff, there's everyone's idea of like, how do you throw a good Christmas? Is it everyone getting X number amount of gifts? Is it spending X amount of money on a single person? And all these other things that were instilled in you very early to keep you going, to keep you running. And it made you feel like you weren't doing enough when you weren't able to accomplish what someone else said you needed to accomplish. I want to get one more before I move on to another. Okay, yeah, the Knight of Stones. This was the bottom of the deck, and then it just came out. So, again, delivering, because the knights are the ones that bring something in. I love that there's this rustic farm outside, because for some people that's all they want is some land and peace. Six of Branches in reverse. Okay, that's interesting. I just heard like a buzzsaw or something. My neighbor next door is working on her house. Oh, wow. Six of Swords and the Eight of Tides, both in reverse. So I almost feel like there was money wounds. Like, if your parents struggle, you watch your parents struggle financially growing up, you watch them struggle to provide for the holidays and stuff, this can leave a money wound in yourself of what it's like. As soon as you get it, you spend it because you feel like, finally I have something and I can do this for myself. Because I remember when I was little, I couldn't do this for myself. This is an issue I myself have. I've recently gotten a new job, and it's like as soon as it gets in there, I want to spend it, and I have to keep catching myself being like, no, it's not actually going to make me feel better getting that fast food. And do I really need to get those lights this week? No. There are other things going on. But because money was such a scarcity, it left this, the only way to say it is a wound that you feel like you have to indulge in it now instead of being conscientious and saving it. Six of Branches is being followed by the Lovers in reverse. So this does have something to do with your own passions. You may have ended up dating people who did not practice good money-making skills. Solar plexus chakra. This is the chakra that relates to how we perceive ourselves. And this is one thing that we don't often recognize we need to separate from ourselves, is what our parents or our families' constraints were, what stopped them, be it the fact that they had to separate themselves from work to raise their children, or that there was someone else that was always taking from them, like maybe their parents always demanded money from them, even though it would be, and it was the guilt tripping of like, oh, I brought you into this world, you need to take care of me, or maybe you had step family or in-laws and people being like, oh, you need to take care of this because you're the money maker now. No. No, 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 no. You do not deserve that, my love. Lumarium, thank you. Where did you go? There you are. Starseed Elemental in the Violet Flame. I was just talking with my mother about how I believe I'm a starseed elemental, specifically for the earth element. And that is because my sun, moon, rising are all earth signs. Artie, stop eating your booty right next to me, darling. You also have the violet flame here. Violet being the color of the crown chakra in the etheric realm. There is something beautiful about your connection to how you interact with this world. Say you are an air elemental. You might be very inclined to music, and specifically ones that you breathe through, like flutes and clarinets and things like that. You also have fire elementals. You might be a very passionate and ambitious person, and you just bring this incredible drive and you light up other people. There is something about how you uniquely inspire that needs to be fostered, that needs to be cared for. Sorry for the shake. My dog decided to bump into the tripod. There's something unique about how you see and work with the energies of this world that needs to be fostered and continue to be harnessed. And it does leave you with an inherent vulnerability because you have to go into something that has not been harnessed, that has not been recognized or allowed to breathe. I'll say it like that. This part of your magic, it may be something that you were denied. If you grew up in a family that was staunchly Christian or did not believe in the occult, that shamed things like this, you might have this instilled belief that you are wrong, that this isn't real, that you can't do this, that this is bad. But no, my love, this is your divine soul. This is something that only you uniquely can bring to this world. I would like to touch on my divine feminines. Perpetua, the Saint of Authenticity, came out. Esther was underneath her. Let's see what else comes out. Thank you. Thank you. Love that. So you have Teresa of Avila, Our Lady of Interior Light. I trust the answers I find within. I know that the presence of love is real. Again, this is a magic within you. Perpetua, she is one of my favorites because she is the Saint of Authenticity, and that is what I strive to inspire in you guys. The knowing that you are not wrong for existing in this way. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. And the beautiful High Priestess, I'm going to try to pronounce this right. Enda Huanda. Gorgeous, gorgeous card. I am one with my soul, and my soul is a legacy of love. because that is the one thing that is promised to all of us, is love, in whatever degree you came here to feel it, because there are some instances where you do not feel romantic love, but you feel incredible platonic love and familial love. And Artemis is laying directly on the tripod. Thank you, love. Sometimes you have that really loyal love of familiars and those closest to us. But there is something inside you that is begging to be seen. Pravarti, the goddess of devotion. I am a love that does not leave. When I commit to love, my soul evolves. Confirmation douche riding up the road. Oh my days, I love that. Okay, Star Temple. Who has blessed us with this love, and what is the meaning of this power? The little star, divine. My inner child is whole and complete. This love comes from that unconditional love that we feel for the world as a child, and healing the inner child. I love this because this is the inner child grown up. The Enchanter. If you watched my reading this morning, Enchanted by Taylor Swift was one of the songs. Dream. I wish upon a star, and my dreams come true, especially when you wish for it wholeheartedly for yourself, for your passions, for your desires. So when we follow that dream and trust in our heart's fire, where does that lead us? A choice that has to be made. That again resonated with the reading from this morning. Solitude and coming apart, with rescue in the reverse. You've isolated yourself because there was so much about your energy, there was so much about your childhood that you would just put away. Like, you weren't even putting out the SOS asking to be healed because you knew it would mean that you'd have to face what hurt you. And my love, as scary as it seems, that version of you has to fall apart. That one that isolated. Hestia, what are you eating? Stop that. That version of you had to fall away because it was isolating you. It taught you that you had to put yourself away, that you had to separate yourself, when in reality, the world needs to see you. We need to hear you. Because I promise you, there is someone else that feels what you are feeling. There is someone else that feels as lost as you felt in your darkest hour. In the darkest of times, I am my very own light. And with that, I instill that I always have the reason to fight. And that is for myself. That is for a new day. That is for the version of me I have yet to love. Yeah. Sacrifice. You're not going to sacrifice yourself anymore. There are those worth making, and there are those that will destroy you. Experiments, beauty. So with experiments and beauty here, along with sacrifice, is there a way you have desire, 1331, as I'm saying this, is there a way that you have desire to express yourself that you feel like you could not? Like, I'm seeing like, gothic or scene makeup and stuff, the ones that are like really heavy, and a lot of people are like, oh, what the hell is going on? But who the fuck cares? Do you want to dress like that? Do you want to feel like that? How do you want to express yourself in a way that you love who is in the mirror? Because you need to do that. Homeland and freedom were the two cards that came up right with that. Arrival, a journey ends. Independence and self-determination. Soul cage, something kept you trapped. Rescue, escape from captivity or restriction. So you could have found yourself born into a very restrictive home. One that denied or ostracized the astrological the ethereal, the magical, one that made you feel like this innate connection, this innate power was demonic or wrong. I'm in my brother's room, so the Star Wars thing back there. Like, was there someone who made you feel like your gifts and your power were wrong? That you did not have the proper way? And I'm sorry that someone made you feel that way. Time and tide, ocean spells and rituals. So with time and tide here, beyond just the inclination that if you don't have like beaches near you, you should try to find lakes or water or something. Just living water really, really helps, especially with releases, even if you're just talking into the water. Tides they raise, and underneath the high tide, there are mollusks and sea creatures that move about, that only move about when they are submerged. There are some things that need to be covered and protected, and then there are times where it falls back. It is a cycle, and you can look at that high tide as those moments of healing. Hestia, what are you eating? Stop that. Get some help. When the water comes up, it could feel like a breakdown. It could feel like a shutdown. It could feel like there is too much going on. But do you remember the Piper short where they go underneath the tide and they can see all the shells coming up and they can grab the biggest ones? These high tide moments are a chance for you to see what is dwelling just beneath the surface that is wanting your attention. And I feel like it's very likely that it will trigger an ego death, that you will not allow yourself to continue to exist in the situation that you have been existing in, because someone has made you the sacrificial lamb and prevented you from exploring, prevented you from learning who you are outside of a situation or a unit or whatever it is. And like experiments here, it's like you haven't been given a chance to do things differently, because people were like, no, this is the way it's always been done. This is the way you have to do it. And I'm sorry, it's not going to be that way for everybody. My favorite phrase is, the pressure and conditions that it takes to make an emerald would destroy a ruby. We are not built the same. And that isn't to separate and ostracize us. That is an opportunity for us to expand our knowledge. If not even for ourselves, just for a deeper level of empathy. But you may find something on someone's path that you resonate with. Not entirely, because it's their path and yours. But you might take one of their practices and adapt it into your own. Go on, Artie. Go on, baby girl. There is a joy in expanding to what other people see. But only if you can actually listen. And the people around you have not been listening to the things that you're saying, the things that you want to harness and use. I encourage you to be brave enough to stand alone. Because when you do, you will find that there are others who are finding their own bravery, their flame and their shine, and we are stronger together in combination to when we have that independent strength to stand alone. It may sound contradictory, but the more powerful an individual is, the greater strength a collective has. I'm so proud of you guys. And like I had to, take time for yourself to learn your own power. The Bone Collector is a divination master, and they want you to find your own gifts, because it won't look like mine. It won't look like another mentor's. It'll be something uniquely you. I say this all the time about people's artwork. You can't compare yourself to another person. Yeah, you can share technique and stuff, but art itself, cannot be compared, because only you can create it. Only you can create something in that way. And I hope you discover what it is you are meant to bring into this world. And I hope that you see it as beautiful as you are.